bleeds, we can kill... Wait.
That's the wrong movie.
Wrong franchise. Hey, yo, Adrian. Damn it. Right actor, but still wrong movie franchise. Get to the chopper. I'm terrible at this. I'm sorry. I'm absolutely terrible. So, all joking aside. I
can't remember any legit Rambo quotes off the top of my head for some reason.
When you're pushed, killing's as easy as breathing. That's to me. That's probably one of the most epic ones.
Okay, here's my thing. Is like, here lately I've been more critical of movies.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went and saw Rambo in theaters, I was just kind of like, hell yeah. But I don't really know what everybody else thought of that.
I loved it. I still like it.
I wasn't as critical when I saw it, so I don't really know what I think about that one now at this point.
Well, I went and watched it a year ago. I actually have a version of. I actually have it upstairs. It's not the uncut version. I tried so hard to get the uncut version, but they only did a limited run of it. But I was blown away by how good it was. The CG was a bit shit in some cases. There was some parts you could definitely tell the CG was just like, no. But
that's
overall, for the film,
CG anyways.
For the commitment of Sylvester Stallone, for the action, yeah, I gotta still give it a thumbs up, like an 8 out of 10.
I remember saying like that one dude with the sniper rifle. I was like, that's why I like sniper rifles.
Yeah, Schoolboy was a good sniper.
Badass.
Yeah. They called me Schoolboy.
Fucking dude that was standing like up on the thing, just
like
at
the top of my class. They still call me.
You just
that.
see him be like, whoop.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see that one guy on the turret on the boat.
Oh, it's like, oh.
His head disappears. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
And then you see John on the 50 cal just like blowing everyone away.
That was like the most satisfying I've ever seen someone be killed with a sniper rifle outside of either Sniper or Elite or Gears of War.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why historically people have always hated snipers. Like, I mean, if like you were a sniper and like anybody ever got a hold of you throughout history, you
well, Simo Kayela, I mean,
it's because it's not fair.
Honestly, no, in warfare, like, hey, the Germans had started using mustard gas, and we said that's not fair. We start using shotguns. They said that's not fair. It's like bullshit.
Yeah.
You're the ones gassing everybody.
Well, it's like in video games, man. It's like if you're using a character that you're good with and you kill somebody, but they don't use that character and they're not good with them, they want that character nerfed.
Yeah.
Well,
so.
and me, when I was heavy into Call of Duty way back when, first 2 Modern Warfare games online, I was a heavy on sniper. I mean, I was good. My accuracy was over 60%. I had a KDR of like 3.5. I was doing good. But, like you said, people hate snipers. And they would often, like, sniper-proof certain areas. Like, I'd go in, there'd be a claymore. Or I'd go in, and there'd be something that would let them know I'm there. And I'm just like, well, shit.
I mean, that's true to life, because historically people hate snipers because they're so dangerous. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, Simo Hayala killed, like, over 500 Russian soldiers.
With, like, iron sights and just a crappy old Russian rifle. Like, that dude, man.
Yeah, the Spitz. I remember that's the Spitz. They called it that because it was the Finnish army bought them from Russia and adapted them in their own way, but they were still effectively just bolt action Russian rifles. And when the Russians invaded, he just decimated them, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're bad news when it's like the Russians don't want anything to do with you, like, because historically people tried to fight Russia and it's not turned out well for them.
Well, it's because the Finns know the cold as well as the Russians.
Yeah.
I mean, the Finns are in pretty much the Arctic Circle. Half their country is, and when it comes to speed skiing, you can't beat them. Well, that's how they won. Dude.
Yeah,
that's how they won. I mean,
you just ski away after you just like shot a few of them and just
Yeah, you might get shot skiing in, but at the same time, you ski through the woods. You real tight knit pattern through the woods. Come out, pull up your rifle or your machine gun, blow a few Russian dudes away, and go right back in the forest. And they go chasing after you, and they can't catch you.
Well, I mean, he would just pack snow down so there wouldn't be any dust up, and he just sit there and he just shoot.
And
it's like
he would also put snow in his mouth so he wouldn't show his breath.
And it's like because the whiteout, you can't see muzzle flash. I mean, with snow blindness and stuff. Yeah,
well, everything blends in once you're staring at a white field that is just cascaded by the sun.
Talking about people that are descendants of a pagan culture that had a god dedicated to skiing. I mean, it's like...
Of course the Russians were screwed.
Yeah.
Because the Russians, they were mostly used to dealing with like flat land and all that, whereas Finland actually has a lot of hills and and some mountains.
Well, and Russia's always been successful in that, like, nobody can fight them on their own turf, because that was one thing with, like, Germany, where...
Well, the Germans pushed...
Lord knows why the Germans ever thought they could take on Russia, but, like, when they retreated...
In winter. Well, if Hitler would have bunkered down in October and let winter take its course, maybe, just maybe, he stood a chance.
Well,
but the problem was, he kept pushing all the way through, and that's why so many of his men died.
When they pulled back, they destroyed everything and poisoned all the water, so there was nothing for anybody to survive on, no shelter, anything. So
yeah, that's Stalin, dude. That Stalin's cruelty is what, honestly, when people talk about civilian casualties, most of those civilian casualties didn't come from the Germans.
That was Russia.
Oh yeah, Stalin in Stalingrad alone Stalin killed 1 million of his own fellow countrymen.
Because it's like, okay,
all because he didn't want the Germans to win.
Here's a loaded rifle, and it's like, second guy, here's some ammunition. When he dies, you pick up his rifle and keep shooting. So it was like literally they were sending guys out there with no weapons.
And if you turned around and even thought about running away, you got shot.
Yep.
Conscript. Jesus Christ. And the only one of the conscripts who was good was Vasily Zaitsev. Yes, I know, John Rambo.
I want to see it.
Okay, fine.
Dang communists.
Ooh, yeah. Uh-oh.
I've lived in a world of death.
Old man Rambo.
People I've loved die. Some fast with a bullet. Some not enough left to bury.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
All these years I've kept my secrets. But the time has come to face my past. And if it comes looking for me, they will welcome death. I want revenge.
Ride till I can't no more.
I want them to know that death is coming. And there's nothing they can do to stop it.
Hell yeah.
I start saying that movie's hitting really close to home.
That's like you. That's what you want to do. Just be a crazy old man sitting on his porch with a bunch of guns behind him.
Yeah, and then, the alphabet boys start rolling up and just pipe bombs start going off, and, it happens.
So pretty much, Micah, this is going to be...
Well, see, it's going to get real exciting, because in the barn, all the home intruders that I've captured and retrained to be my personal army are going to come rolling out, and that's going to get real exciting.
Jesus.
Feed them SpaghettiOs and reconditioning them with lights and sirens and stuff. It's exciting. Yeah.
So,
Jesus Christ, dude.
Don't break into my house.
I have another question. Is it universal, or was it just me and my friends that were using a phrase when we were little called going Rambo?
Oh, no. I used it a lot. Going Rambo was pretty much just like you going in and, like, offing everybody.
Yeah, especially in video games,
that
obviously.
That was the original Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah,
basically.
Leroy Jenkins kind of
before Leroy Jenkins, it was like, oh, they're going Rambo, just running in and fucking everybody up.
Well, yeah. Well, in Rambo Part 2, he screamed someone to death. Like, literally from the helicopter, at the helicopter scene where he's blowing everyone away, there's this one guy on this scaffolding, he's flying towards him, and Rambo just goes out the window, flies by like, ah! And the guy falls off the bridge. No bullet hitting around him or nothing. It's one of the funniest things ever. Yeah. He shouted him to death. It's like
Rambo's like the original main video game character.
Yeah.
It's just like he's the guy that's killed.
The pro tag.
ridiculously unrealistic amount of people without being killed himself.
Yeah.
So-
Which if you think about it, yeah, it's true because when you actually read the novel and you see how the novel ends versus how the movies have progressed. See how the original movie how the original book and the original movie both ended the same way, with Rambo effectively dying at the hand of his commanding officer, and that's originally what the ending was supposed to be. Rambo is confronted by his old boss, and Rambo asks him to kill him, and he does. Puts a gun to his stomach and shoots him and kills him. Whereas in the novel, the commanding officer pretty much doesn't have a choice, and he shoots Rambo with a shotgun and kills him, which is just like, wow. It's when you think about where this franchise spawned from and its origins, and how it's really changed like a movie version changing the perception of instead of the book. Now, no longer will the book be what people remember Rambo for. Instead, it's the movies. Yeah. And honestly, man, it's been a crazy ride with the Rambo films because the first one I like a lot. The second one is silly, admittedly, but still okay, still pretty good. Third one, I was like, okay, I'm tapping out. And then the fourth one, I was just like, okay, here we go again. And now with this one, I'm just like, what can they not do at this point? Because it's basically Sylvester Stallone just being like, I want to blow up a bunch of stuff and a bunch of people and everything.
I mean, clearly it's Balboa Productions, so he's just like, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. It's like, but that doesn't make sense. Doesn't matter, it's Rambo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Is like I'm not paying for a ridiculously amazing story or anything when I go to see Rambo. I'm paying to see Rambo fuck some shit up.
Yeah, exactly.
And they usually deliver on that.
Well,
so.
originally I wanted to see John Wick because of the action, because I heard the action was really good, but I thought the story was going to be crap. Turns out the story was actually really good.
Yeah. It's like with John Wick, it's like I'm still paying to see John Wick fuck a bunch of dudes up, but
I
also the lore that's in the background is real fucking awesome.
Yeah, the Continental
too.
alone is just such an interesting concept.
I mean,
Indeed.
if you want me to buy motivation for just straight up murdering a bunch of dudes right in their stupid faces, killing my dog is all the motivation I would need to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. I of the same cloth, man.
Yeah.
If someone messed up Bella, just my mom's dog, I'd be like, where they live. Just buy me a little bit of time. No one will find him.
That's just your mom's dog. That's not even your dog,
Well, I love Bella, dude. I grew up with Bella.
Yeah.
Bella is the sweetest, most kindest dog you could ever imagine. Why someone would want to hurt her, especially when she's lived this long and is on her last legs, and is now just wanting to just laze about and be a lap dog. I mean, why deprive her of that? Why deprive any animal of its like any animal that's just is living its life I understand why in certain cases sustenance, but an animal like a dog who is literally a companion for somebody,
just hanging out doing dog stuff.
Yeah, crapping in the yard and eating food and crapping at the door out of spite. Bella. She does that. When Mom leaves for an extended period of time, she'll just drop a mean one right in the front of the door. And right when Mom walks in, she'll just be like, she'll just take a big whiff, and there the turd will be right in the middle of the walkway. Well, it is what it is. But I'm excited for this. I mean, action films over the last almost 5-6 years, action films have actually taken an uptick in my book.
Yeah.
And it started with John Wick. And I'm hoping that this learns some lessons from John Wick and lets the action tell the story for it instead of the editing. Because I've noticed that with some action films. The editing is so like, you can't really tell what's going on.
Yeah.
Whereas John Wick,
there's some clever editing occasionally, like with it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Well, necessary
I get what
cuts
you're saying,
versus attention cuts. Because whenever a cut is made, your brain automatically clicks over and is just like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? Every time it does a cut. But yeah, it's not necessary, man. It's not necessary with everything. If you have something going on screen that is interesting and is telling a story by itself, you don't have to edit to keep people's attention. You don't have to do quick cuts and all that. I mean, I've shown you all the thing where they filmed Liam Neeson just jumping over a fence, and in that scene, they cut him jumping over the fence 14 times.
That's ridiculous.
There were 14 cuts with him jumping over a fence, and that's it. 14 cuts versus the one fight scene with Ruby Rose and John Wick 2. There were a grand total of, in an entire like 2 or 3 minute fight scene, maybe 15 to 20 cuts. That's it. The action told the story, and the editing did its job. I hope that's what they do with this. I hope so. I don't know who's directing this. Maybe Stallone's directing it again. Which it'll be interesting if they do, if he's directing again. Alright, well, that's going to do it. So I guess signing off until next time. I'm Nate.
Micah.
I'm Nick.
And we'll see you in the next one, everybody. Peace out.